What's good, y'all? It's your boy Lorenzo, aka Big Renzo.
Hey, this is your girl Melissa, and we're here with another episode of Esoteric Love.
So basically, we're gonna sit here and act like we wasn't gone for like 9 months.
Of course not. I was about to tell you guys how much I missed you guys.
Because you up here talking like we saw them last week.
You starting already?
Well, because you don't try to act like you wasn't gone. That's all I'm saying. Don't act like you wasn't gone.
I'm not. I missed you guys. I missed talking to you guys. Well, we missed you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, you guys missed us. Okay.
They've been missing us because people still been listening.
Oh,
Even though we've been gone
a minute.
I don't know this many. I don't
A
know.
lot of many.
A lot of many.
But oh my gosh, I miss you guys. But so we're here. We're back in full effect.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so we must say that the past, let's see, that's me counting for those that can't see. 6 months. The past 6 months.
That sounds about right.
Have been the most trying times of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And let's just get into it real quick. So I'm just gonna say that God works in mysterious ways. Let's just say that. Not that we were on the rocks or we were at odds or anything like that. But if anything was ever thought or like any thought like, hey, I don't want to be with this person, or hey, this person gets on my nerves. It's just like God just like shook our whole world and slapped us in the face. It sounds bad, but slapped us in the face and was like, wake up, pretty much. So pretty much in August, my husband gets pneumonia. Okay? Mm-hmm. He gets really bad pneumonia. And the crazy man is not telling me that. Okay, let's go back.
I told you what I thought.
No, see, let's go back. Okay, y'all know.
I went to Crenshaw High School and worked at FedEx. I didn't go to nursing school. So let's start there.
I was backing up.
Okay. Don't be trying to make me look crazy.
You see how you start.
Okay, I'm listening.
Early on.
I'm listening.
Okay. We all know I'm a nurse. Okay, we get that. So of course I know things and see things differently or whatever in the medical world. But you still can describe how you're feeling a little better. So I know that he doesn't feel good, but I don't know that nothing. I'm like, okay, I'm automatically trying to figure out, like, is he having trouble breathing, anything like that? Because those are things that, I'm worried about. So, honey, are you having any trouble breathing? No. Okay. Okay. No. And I just feel tired. I'm just gonna lay down. Okay. So this goes on of him just saying, no, he can't, he's fine with his breathing. He's just tired. He's just fatigued. That's the word. Yeah. I'm traumatized from that word.
Fatigued.
I'm just fatigued. What does fatigued mean? Like, what are you saying?
Tired.
Okay. So he just keeps telling me that he's tired. So one night, I'm just like, no, because he's stressing me out. So one night he does finally say, like, okay, I think something's wrong. But by then it's been like 3 days or something.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It's been like 3 days. He doesn't tell me that. Oh, he goes to take my son upstairs and he can't breathe. You hear the word breathe? Yeah, he doesn't say that though. He says he was fatigued. Instead of saying, hey, I was having trouble breathing when
It felt like I ran a mile. Is what I'm saying. I thought I was just a big N-word and a little out of shape. A lot out of shape because I ain't played football in quite some years. And that's what it felt like. It felt like you was running a whole lot of wind sprints and you couldn't do the last one.
Yes, like. But when you got at the top of those stairs, you couldn't breathe, right?
I had to let the little homie walk. But, bro, you gonna have to figure this out, homeboy. You gonna have to walk the rest of the way.
You made my dog baby son that didn't know how to get upstairs go by himself. Anyways. But anyway, so finally he comes back down like, okay, I think I need to go to the hospital. I'm like, are you sure? You know, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm just fatigued. So I'm like too through with him at this point. So we end up not going that night. And then we're in bed going to sleep. So something woke me up. And I'm just watching him, like I said, I'm just assessing. And I'm checking out his breathing on my own because he's obviously not telling me what I need to know. And he didn't have a fever, it was nothing else. So there was not really anything I could gauge to figure out what was wrong with him. So I'm looking at him, and his breaths are like so shallow. They're like his chest is shallow. And so I'm counting the breaths, I'm doing the whole assessing him.
I'm glad I didn't open my eyes and see you looking at me. I might have to make you catch these hands. I don't know what's going on. Seen too many movies for somebody to stand over me. Way too many movies. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You see?
I know.
Yes. So I'm watching him assessing him, and I'm like, oh no, his breathing is too shallow, and I'm like, and it's like slow. It's not like he's breathing fast. It's slow, but he's not taking full breath. So wake him up. Let's go. We going. So we go to urgent care. We go to the urgent care that was... No, well, it's the hospital. It's the hospital, too. No, yeah, it was the hospital, actually.
Yeah, it's both days together.
And so I go there, but I know this... Okay, so we go to the hospital. They're saying all kind of stuff, whatever. They're saying stuff that I don't want to hear, pretty much. And so I'm like, okay, I'm about to move him. I'm about to drive him down the hill. I'm about to drive him to a different hospital. They're telling me, no, you shouldn't take him to a different hospital, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, y'all are not moving fast enough. And you try to kill my husband, we're going to have a problem. So, yes, let's go.
Hey, you said that.
I'm like, So they're, okay.
It wasn't funny then, but it's funny
so
now.
they did hook him up or whatever. This fool's oxygen is like almost 70, like almost in the 70s. And he talking about he just feel fatigued. See, I can't even talk because you making me bad. Anyways, his oxygen is almost in the 70s. Yes. Should I have kept him there? No. Is that low? Yes. But I'm not keeping him there for them to try to kill my husband. So.
Yeah, well, that was the first time somebody looked me in my eyes and said, I don't want you to die. Like, you don't want me to die, bro. What you mean?
Yes, they did say that.
I'm looking right in my eyes and told me that. Like, you don't want me to die. Bro, I don't like hearing that. What you talking about?
Yes. And so I'm like, okay. So I thought about it, but I'm like, okay. 35 minutes versus me feeling like they about to kill him anyways here. So I'm just like, let's go. We gonna figure this out. And we sure enough went somewhere else. And, they got him, they were doing what needed to be done and got him situated, and they were going to keep him as well. But I'm just sitting there praying like, Lord, I need you to understand. I do not, if he needs to be kept, he needs to be kept, of course. But I really don't want him to be kept. If there's any type of way that he can come home, like I'm praying.
Yeah.
So he's texting me like, there's about to keep me. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. So got to praying. He texts me like, wait, maybe they're going to let me go home. So what happened after that? So they end up letting him come home. But they let him come home so he had to be on oxygen. He had a blood clot. That was the problem. He had pneumonia and he had a blood clot in his lung. So he was on blood thinners. How was that? Those injections.
Let me explain something to you. When she told me, like, when the lady was telling me, she was like, yeah, you're going to have to take these and you're going to have to stab yourself in the stomach with this. I said, I gotta do what now? You gotta take this little syringe thing and stab yourself in the stomach. What was it? twice a day.
Yeah, it was
Something like that. I'm like, man, I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to do. I was like, well, can you call my wife over and you tell her what to do? And it was like, well, we can't really have her over here because, of course, what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, man, okay, whatever. So I tell my wife what to do. So I hope I ain't leaving that note. But she already, of course, she knows already. Yeah.
So,
man, my stomach was all black and blue.
Yeah, so oh my God. So he ended up, good thing, he ended up being able to come home. He had to come home on oxygen, like I said, blood thinners, of course, like steroids, stuff like that. But there were still a few scares where we were possibly going to have to take him back. Like, he was still having some trouble breathing and, like, I didn't know if he was going to make it or not, but I knew I was going to do everything.
I couldn't do nothing without that,
the oxygen. Like,
I couldn't go to the bathroom without it.
Go to the bathroom, try to get in the shower. Like, he couldn't get from one spot to the next if he didn't have the oxygen on. So we just, like I said, just kept praying, all that. I'm driving like, Lord, please do not take my husband away from me. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I say that he works in mysterious ways because it just opened my eyes to, like, of course, you need your husband, you love your husband, you want your husband, but it just really opened my eyes, like, I can't lose him, I need him, like, please figure this out. So, as you see, he's nice and...
I like all what you're saying, but we got to get to the meat and potatoes or something.
So we're
hold on, because you forgot that you pushed this 300 some odd pound, 6'3" and something all throughout this parking lot, all through the hospital.
I forgot about that
because I couldn't walk. Like walking wasn't gonna happen. Getting out the car to the street had me done.
So I parked. So when we got to the other hospital, I parked to the front. He got out. I went and parked, came back. Well, I went and parked, yeah. He's texting me like, I'm not going to be able to walk to the front by myself. I'm like... That
sucks as a man that's able to feel like he can do anything. That put me in a tough spot.
So I'm like, shoot. I'm like, what the heck are we going to do? So I run in there.
Yeah, she has asthma. Like, she really has asthma.
I run in there. I get the wheelchair, come back out to get it for him. Get him in there. I push him into the place. The place they
incline.
I push him, get all the way there. Like I'm pushing, like up this hill.
Wife, I didn't mind that you was blowing your breath on my back of my neck because I get it. The thing is, I'm trying to tell you, I understand why you
see how you do.
I understand.
I can let you go and you roll down the hill.
Exactly. That's why I said I didn't mind. I get it.
Yes.
A lot of N-word you pushing.
I'm pushing 3-something up an incline. Okay. So don't.
No, I didn't. I was just giving you your props.
Yes, but as you see, he's nice and wonderful. So, fast forward to, we go through that. So we're dealing with that from August to like a month. We're dealing with that because it still took him a lot to build back up his breath and being able to do things on his own, all that. So but he's good now. So then we fast forward, like I said, God just shook our whole life. So you guys have heard us long enough, and as you can hear, I probably don't sound the same that I have always sounded. So let me summarize this because this is a long situation, but pretty much felt a lump under my chin. Didn't think nothing of it for some months. But then I'm like a real paranoid type person with my health. So I'm like, nah.
Yeah, you definitely.
I'm like, nah, doctor, she already knows I'm crazy. So she's like, what do you need? I'm like, I got a lump. I'm thinking it's something from my tooth. I'm thinking my tooth is like jacked up or something like that. So I'm like, I need some antibiotics. She's like, okay, Melissa, here. So she gives me the antibiotics, and I take that for whatever, like 2 weeks. The lump doesn't go down. So I'm like, I let like 3 weeks or probably another month go by because I was so busy, just busy with life. And so I'm like, well, okay, getting freaked out again.
You even had me rub on it.
Yep.
I was like, I don't know I mean, I guess it feel like a cyst. I don't know what's going on.
It did actually feel like a cyst, like a little. That's exactly what it felt like. So I'm like, nope, doctor, I need a CT scan because the antibiotics didn't work. I need a CT scan. She was like, okay, Melissa, here you go. So once again, got busy with life, and more time went by. Finally, they called like your CT scan is about to expire. You need to come do it. And I'm like, okay, let me go get that done. So they scanned my the area. They marked where it was, and they scanned that area. So come to find out, that lump is nothing. But in the process of them looking at that lump, they find that I have nodules on my thyroid. I have a bunch of nodules on my thyroid, and that all my lymph nodes from like the middle of my chest up were all swollen. There was one where my collarbone is, that was the biggest. And so they're like, well, we have to biopsy it to see if there's anything wrong. So they go, so I'm like, okay. So of course I tell my husband this is what's going on. They have to biopsy it. I'm like, I'm still a thick girl. I ain't losing no weight. So it can't be cancer. I'm like, I'm not losing any weight. And so we're like still going on about life till that date. So I'm going, get it done. They biopsy it. Of course I freaked out because that's like a needle stabbing through your, like a needle stabbing through your body pretty much. So and it's not as bad as it seemed, but what I put in my head, it was like horrible. So that was like traumatizing to even go through, but I did it because I knew I had to. So did that. Next day, doctor calls me. So we all know, nurse or not, you all know, no news is good news. So if you're getting called and you're getting called by the doctor themselves, sometimes isn't so deep, yeah, sometimes isn't anything good. So I'm like, okay, doctor, I know you shouldn't be calling me. Your nurse should be calling me if anything. And she's like, she's like real quiet and all that, and she just tells me it did come back cancerous. The lymph node did come back cancerous, and that the cancer is coming from your thyroid. And instantly, my world stopped. Oh God. Okay. So this is like the first time really talking about it. So you guys don't mind me. This is the first time really talking out loud to anybody else about it. But instantly my world stopped. And my husband is in the other room, I think like changing my baby or something. So that's all I could think about is me having to tell him, me having to go in there and tell him what's going on. And, just my babies, just all that is what's going through my mind. So instantly, like I said, everything stopped. I couldn't hear nothing she was saying at that point. Like, I couldn't hear, I don't know. So all I heard was that I have thyroid cancer. It was a certain kind of cancer. It's one of the better ones to have, because it doesn't spread as fast. But because it's probably, I guess, been there so long, it had spread. That's why it was in my lymph nodes, in my neck, and in my chest, and wherever. So it had spread. Okay, and so, good thing, they instantly got the ball rolling. They got the ball rolling, and that next month I was scheduled for surgery. So that was November. So November 5th was surgery. That again was just horrible because of course we're in a time of COVID. So my husband couldn't be in there with me. He couldn't even go in. He couldn't even go in there with me to even check in. And
that was tough.
That was hard.
The whole situation was tough. But when they told me that, see, I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to do that. So I don't know if y'all know that I've been veering off to the right because I don't want to do that. Because I did it a lot.
He's talking about tearing up.
She knows. But all right. Y'all remember the scene from Toy Story 3?
No.
When they was about to go in the fire pit and they all start holding hands and they didn't know they was gonna make it. That's what we felt like when I had to hug her for her to go inside there. I'm pointing at the camera, I'm sorry, y'all. And she had to go inside the hospital and I couldn't go with her. I couldn't go with her. I'm hearing information 6 to 8 hours at a time. Like, I wasn't hearing stuff rapidly. It was like, honey, I made it inside. 6 hours go by. Or they said they're going to do this.
Yeah.
Another 4, 5 hours go by. Yep, see.
And then the doctor started calling.
Yeah, then the doctor calling me.
Yeah, then the doctor started calling him. But
yeah. But when like from my side, you know, when she told me that, like, you see these movies and you be entertained by these movies and you be invested in these movies when you're watching them. But when it's your life and it's really you, it hit a little different. Like what she said that she didn't want to lose her husband. I had to take a drive. Like I had to take a drive and like talk to God and told him straight up, like I talk to God like he the homie. I don't thee, thou, thee, and all that. I'll be like, look, man, you know the situation. You know I cannot be here without my wife. Like plain and simple. We got a long life ahead of us. God. But yeah, because I don't want to do that. But I just pretty much told him, like, look, man, we got to get through this. This is before the surgery. This is right when she told me. We got to get through it. You know, so we got to. Go ahead, wife, take the wheel.
Yeah, and so, like you said, it's like, it's a surgery. It's a serious surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it spread to my lymph nodes, pretty much, they cut me. You can't see it right now, but they cut me here. You're going to have to watch the video if you want to see where they cut me. But they cut me straight here and pretty much lifted my face and lifted down and lowered my chest pretty much to get everything out. So, of course, you have to be, you have to be put to sleep. They have to put the tube down your throat. They do all that. So, you know, of course, they're experienced, but there's also that chance that you can not make it, or there's that chance that, you know, I have asthma, so my lungs collapse. It's a lot of risk involved with those things. So it was just really scary to not know if that's the last time I'm seeing my kids, last time I'm seeing my husband, and he can't even go in there with me. Like, it was just horrible. Like, it was just, I hugged him for so long. Like, I didn't even want to go in there. And then he just had to drive away from me. Like, there's nothing he could do. He just had to drive away from me. So I know that hurt him as well. But, so I got the surgery, got done. I got out of it. You know, I got done with the surgery. And I'm like, thank you, Lord. Like, I got out. I got done. And I'm alive. 8 hours later, let's say. 8 hours later. Mm-hmm. So a few hours later, I start seeing that my face was more swollen than when I came in. I mean, when I first got it done. So I'm asking the nurses, is this normal? Blah, blah, blah. I'm asking questions. They're telling me, yeah. Everybody's telling me, yeah, everything is fine. And then I'm like, no, something ain't right. So it goes all the way till 8 o'clock in the morning. My doctor comes in to check on me. And his face just drops like he's seen a ghost. And I'm like, yeah, you see that's exactly what I said. I said, yeah, you see what I look like? He just starts, like, he's still trying to stay calm, but he just starts moving. Find the operating room. He's telling everybody, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yep, something's wrong. And so I'm like, what? And he's like, you have a blood clot. You developed a hematoma in your neck. And we gotta now reopen you back up. So now everything that I went through, I now have to go through again. And I have to call my husband again and tell him that they're putting me back into emergency surgery now. So you guys can just imagine the fear he's going through, the fear I'm going through. I looked at my doctor in the face and I said, I have 5 kids. Okay. I need you to figure this out. I need you to do everything you can to make sure I'm okay. And he was like, Melissa, I am, blah, blah, blah. We just got to get in there now. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And so did that, prayed before I went in. And as you see, I'm here. So we got out of that. So I just, it's just been a really rough and, trying time for us. But before I wrap it up, I just definitely want to thank my husband, because without him, I don't know how I would have gotten through any of it, honestly. Like, when I say, like, physically, so what really touched me was emotionally. When I tell you, this man never looked at me once like he was disgusted. Like, you guys, you don't understand. I had tubes coming out my neck, like Frankenstein. Like, I had tubes coming out the side of my neck, down to bloody drains, like these balls at the bottom. So I had 2 coming out the side of my neck. I had 1 coming out of my chest. And not once did he make a face like he was about to throw up, like I was ugly. I literally looked and felt hideous. Like, my hair is all over my head. Like, I looked horrible. And he still had the love in his eyes that he has if I'm looking, well, not looking like this because I'm crying, but if I'm looking like how I look now, he still had the same sparkle in his eyes that he does with me when I look normal. And that meant so much to me, like, you guys don't even understand. He changed my drains. He's not a nurse. He's not, like, the stuff that was coming out of those drains. The stuff that was coming out of those drains was, like, gross. And he did it for me. Knowing that I couldn't, too much move my arms. Like, I couldn't move my neck at all. Like, he sat there and he came up and down. Like I said, we got a big house and it's stairs and it's a lot of everything. Everything to get around this house is a lot. And he did it no matter how many times I needed him to come up the stairs to help me. No matter what I needed, he never complained, never looked at me any different, anything like that. And, like, that just spoke volume, and that just meant so much to me. And it just brought, both of our situations just really brought us that much closer in our relationship. And, yeah.
I can't even, I can't even talk. If I talk, it's over with, so you're listening.
Yeah.
I can't.
So it was rough. It was rough. We just recently, I just recently had to go through a radiation pill. And again, he was just there holding down the kids. I had to be locked away for 2 weeks. In my room, couldn't go see him, couldn't see my kids, he couldn't sleep with me, nothing. And so,
I couldn't even see a fingernail.
So he literally did the day by day, what we both would do in a day, he did on his own, And so, like I said, I just appreciate him and thank him for not making me feel any kind of way. And like I said, just the whole, I think you guys can, you guys should be able to look on YouTube or on our Instagram, and you'll see the pictures of what I looked like. You'll be able to see a video. You'll be able to see pictures. Where on YouTube? Or,
YouTube.
So
we'll put it on Instagram too.
Yeah, so you'll see. I looked horrible, but he, like I said, never looked at me any other kind of way.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I told you before, and that we a team. That's just what it is. We a team, and we run this thing together. You're my wife, man. You're my best friend. You've been with me, good or bad, up or down. You've been there. It's a no-brainer to take care of my. It's a no-brainer to take care of my wife, man. It's a no-brainer to do that.
It's okay. I love you.
You not making it easy.
Okay.
It's a no-brainer to be there for my wife, man. For real. Obviously, you know she'll do the same for me. But that's not why we do this. We don't do this because you did it for me. I do it for you. We do this. It's how we are in general. But waterworks are going.
Okay.
So we gotta change gears. But she know I love her, and I won't ever leave her out there to drown. She know that.
Oh man. So of course, I'm sure you forgive us for being gone so long. But we're back and we're here.
Oh, we back.
We back. For you guys, of course. And thank you guys for still listening.
We really do appreciate it. It keeps us going.
Yeah, while we were gone. So
we all can't breathe. Like wife next slash, and we both said we gotta make a podcast for these people. You know, so y'all definitely give us the encouragement that we need to keep going.
Yes.
But I'm gonna let my wife let y'all know where y'all can find us at though.
All right. So of course on YouTube is Esoteric Love.
Yep.
Our Instagram is Esoteric Love 00.
Yep.
TikTok.
Esoteric
Love.
Twitter. Esoteric Love.
And that's look, here we go.
ESOTRIC Love.
There we go. So you know how to spell it so you can find us.
All right, man. Till next time, we out.
All right, love y'all.